Hello. So, I apologize ahead of time for my voice. It's not as clear and beautiful as it normally is because I was at the convention the entire weekend and we had Super Art Fight on Saturday night, and I kind of spent the entire time yelling and stuff. So, but I did want to do a review of Baltimore Comic Con because I had a really good time at the show. So it's a 2-day convention. I'm used to having a 3-day convention, so it was a nice change of pace. Sales-wise, it meant that you lose an extra day. So a 3-day convention is usually Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday is usually kind of a late day. Saturday is when you have your big rush of people, and then Sunday you have your stragglers. It doesn't always work out that way. Different cons have different flows and different audiences have different flows, but that's generally the sales trend. So Friday's a little low, Saturday's pretty good, Sunday's a little low. So with the 2-day convention, this is my first time at Baltimore Comic Con, so I really didn't know what to expect. First day sales were really decent, and then Sunday they tapered off, but you know, it was still pretty good. I had with me my new display, which I showed off working and painting the process, kinda, sorta. I didn't really get any comments on the display. Typically people don't say shit about your display, although a friend of mine was looking for me in the artist alley and he missed me because he was looking for one of those big PVC banners or one of those big standy banners that people tend to get. So I might add that to my display arsenal. I'm not quite sure. I have this idea, since my comic has Asian American themes, of maybe making like one of those. If you ever see an old samurai movie, you'll see the foot soldiers have these big banners with the crest of whatever lord they're fighting for. And so I think it might be kind of a neat thing to have one of those, although it might get annoying because I, move around and hit people maybe. But it might be cool to make one of those kind of banners to, hang off my back or something. Or but I spent most of the time in the artist alley because I didn't have somebody sitting at the table with me, which kind of sucked because even though I knew both of my table neighbors, I was next to the Digital Pimp guys on one side and then Dern from Dernworks and Hello with Cheese on the other side. I'm gonna link them up in the show notes. So I didn't really feel like I could go away for more than just a bathroom break because I didn't want them to sit there at my table and for hours on end making sure my shit didn't walk away. So I would just pop on out for a bathroom break and then come back in and stuff. So my experience of the convention itself was kind of limited to interactions with people coming by the table and talking with the Digital Pimp guys and Dern and that sort of thing. So my experience isn't exactly a well-rounded Baltimore Comic Con experience, but I did have a good time. I'm kind of shy by nature, so I don't feel like I don't feel like I hustle as much as some of my other friends who table and they're like, "Oh, hi, how you doing? Come on by, let me show you my shit." I'm not like that. I kind of soft sell things. If I catch somebody's eye, I'll hand them a business card, or if somebody comes up to the table and looks at stuff, I'll just let them browse around if they have any questions. A lot of people were amused by Puppy Cow. They'd never seen Puppy Cow before, and so it's one of these days I should just film people's reactions to Puppy Cow, because there's a whole range of emotions that people have when they see this little guy. Typically at an anime convention, I get a lot of squee, like, "Oh my god, that's so cute," and a lot of girls run up to him and pick him up and hug him and stuff like that. At the comic convention, a lot of people walked by and looked at it like, "What the fuck is that?" And I'm like, "Dude, you're a comic fan. You can't handle a puppy cow?" But I had puppy cows with me, and that brought a lot of traffic to the table. Just people poking at him and grabbing the udders. There was one kid who tried to walk away with Puppy Cow without realizing it, and his parents was like, no, bring that back, you didn't pay for it. So it's fortunate that I had an item like this. It's funny, Puppy Cow doesn't actually have anything to do with the comic, um, but it is an eye catcher. A couple people actually passed by and picked up the book, which, oh, I have a copy of it here. Here we go. Some people stopped by and just picked up the book and flipped through it to check out my stuff, which is cool, because last year at Small Press Expo, I didn't have Puppy Cow and I didn't have the book, so I just had me standing there and handing out flyers and just showing off my comic on an iPad. So I was really happy to actually have product, because you know, you gotta sell some shit. But the way I had, the best reaction to Puppy Cow was this guy came up, stared at it like this for a little bit, and then said to himself, "Man, that's just so messed up. I gotta get it for my kid." And so Dern is freaking out next to me, and I don't know why. And he looks over at the guy and he says, "Oh man, I love your work." And I'm like, "Okay, who is this guy?" And he pays for the Puppy Cow. I hand him the Puppy Cow, and as I'm handing my card to him that has my URL and all that stuff, and as I'm saying, "Oh, and here's a link to my webcomic, and I update 3 times a week," I see his name tag. It's Tony fucking Harris. And I'm just like, "I'm sorry I look like an asshole handing you my card." And he says, "Oh, thanks," and walks off. And Dern, like, falls over and starts cursing himself, like, holy shit, and I'm just standing there like, what the fuck just happened? So yeah, that was possibly the best star encounter I've ever had, and the best reaction to Puppy Cow I got the entire weekend. So the way I had my table set up, since we, in the West, we read left to right, or I'll do this opposite. We reread left to right, so when we're out looking at displays, our eyes are used to going from left to right. This is my right, but it's your left, so left to right. And so the way I have my table kind of set up, I have my high-ticket items on the left side of my table, so if you're facing the table, it's to your left. So I had the Puppy Cows way on the left here, with the Puppy Cow shirt, which says Rough Rough Moo, which is somewhere packed up, but it's a Rough Rough Move in letters, and then there's a Puppy Cow in the background. And then next to that I had the book. These are actually the same price, but the shirt is more. I think the shirts are 20 and these are both 15 each. So as your eye goes down, so I had these propped up. I had like a kind of a step set up. And then towards the middle in this area I had my prints. I have some heavy stock prints that I sell, images from the comic that I've done paintings of, like a digital painting of. And a lot of people are very impressed with them, but they never move. So it's kind of strange. Like, I have these prints, a lot of people like them, they're like, "Oh, this is great," and then they just walk on. Which makes me worried. It makes me feel like I'm not very good at selling prints. Maybe it's the kind of prints that I'm doing. Who knows? And then over here to the very right, I have these little charms, puss charms, which are also packed away, and then these necklaces of a love daruma. And I noticed that a lot of people would come up and check out the love daruma pendants, and they was like, "Oh, that's really cute," and they would move on. But if I told them the story behind the pendant, I was, 9 times out of 10 I was able to make the sale. So I think when I table again, if I see somebody come up and start poking at the Daruma pendants, I'm gonna tell them the story about it and hopefully close a sale on that end. And then at the very right I had my business card, but I tended to have business cards in my hand and just pass them out to anybody who would just come up and look at the stuff or poke around or flip through the book. So that's my table setup, and it seemed to work out fairly well. My friend Dern said that when he did San Diego a couple of weeks ago, his lowest ticket items tended to sell out pretty fast, and he was selling like $1 postcards, and he felt that he was losing money because even though he was making a lot of sales, it was his lowest ticket item. And $1 for a postcard, I mean, that's chump change. You're not really gonna make back what your table fee was or your airfare off of $1 sales. So he gave me the idea to put the lowest denomination, the lowest thing on your table at $5. And last year I used to sell pins for $1. And they all did well. They all did really well, but it wasn't really a big money generating thing. I mean, like, you sell 5 pins, that's $5. But if I sold a necklace, one of those pendants, that's $5 there. So the lowest thing on my table now is a $5, either a $5 puss puss charm or a $5 pendant. And I do have a button maker, so I think what I'm going to do with the buttons is make either 5 or 6 packs and then put them in a bag and then sell those for $5. It might be fun to have like 6 buttons in there, with the 6th one being an advertisement for the comic, so it's really free advertising. So I don't know, I might get some of those button packs together for SPX. I might just hold off till next year because I got to get printer ink and all that other kind of stuff. So yeah, that was the sales. I guess I feel like I'm talking about sales a lot, but sales were pretty good the first day. I was able to make back my table fee, which was really important. That was my big goal. Like, if I could pay for the table, I have had a successful convention. And I paid for the table on the first day, so that everything I made on Sunday was gravy on top of that. So that was really happy. It was a good goal to reach, and I had a great time meeting people and talking to people. The audience had a wider range of people than a typical anime convention. Anime conventions attract a lot of the tween grouping or older men, because that's how anime became popular in this country. But the comic convention had a wider range of attendees in terms of age ranges and backgrounds. A lot of families with a lot of little kids, so I kind of felt awkward handing them my card because my comic has a lot of curse words in it. But whatever, fuck it. They're gonna hear that shit sometime anyway. But I had a lot of fun, and I think I really want to do it again next year. So I think I'm gonna add Baltimore Comic Con to my list of regular conventions. I guess there is kind of a danger of doing too many conventions in the same state. Like, I'm doing Small Press Expo in September, and Intervention Convention, I think it's the week after SPX. And then in February, I'm doing KatsuCon. Those are all Maryland, Virginia area conventions. And I guess if I ever get to the point where I'm more popular and actually can draw a crowd, I might cut down on the conventions that I do in the same state. But for now, it makes a lot of sense for me to do these things because I can drive to them, so I don't have to worry about getting a hotel room and that kind of thing. So as long as I'm kind of still small time, and as long as I can still afford to drive out to these places and then come home and then drive back the next day, I think I'm going to be doing a lot of local stuff for a while. So we'll see how that changes throughout the years as I do more of these things. I think I'm rambling now, so I'm going to stop. But if you were at Baltimore Comic Con, I'd love to hear what your experience was like. I don't care if you were in the alley or if you were just there as an attendee. And if you're looking for a convention to go to in the Baltimore area, definitely try Baltimore Comic Con. I'd love to hear if you went to any of the panels or what the other parts of the convention were like, because frankly, I didn't get to see any of that shit. Oh, and one final story to relate. There was a guy walking around with his girlfriend, and he came up to my table and he was just like, he was shaking his head, and I was like, man, I don't know why I don't know why the fuck I wasn't here this year. And I looked at him, I was like, yeah, I don't know why the fuck you weren't here. The fuck you weren't here either. Why the fuck you weren't here either? And I was like, yeah, I do art, I draw, I see a lot of the stuff, like, I like what you're doing, I do similar things, I do comics, and I'm like, why the fuck didn't I show up? And I said, you need to get a table here next year. It costs some money. It costs $200 to get into Baltimore Comic Con. So if you need to, you know, get a studio together or get some friends together, split some table costs. If you have some friends who are already here, do it, but fucking do it. There's nothing holding you back except for the money. So the money's holding you back. But seriously, get your shit out here. And I don't know if my words were at all helpful, but that's what I'd say to anybody who wants to exhibit at a convention. Fucking do it. There's nothing holding you back except for the money. But you know, if you've got friends, you can split table costs. You know, there are ways to get your ass in there. Like, some conventions will give you a price break on tables if you agree to do a panel. Sometimes you can offer to do a panel. So there are ways to get around a table fee, but you know, if you want to do it, fucking do it. Get in there, show off your stuff, because there's nothing really holding you back. So now I'm gonna shut the fuck up. Thank you for watching, and I'll check you next time.